Good morning. It's 28 minutes until 8 o'clock. Good morning, Cayman. Welcome to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz as we celebrate Women's Month in the Cayman Islands this March. We are delighted to kick off our series by spotlighting women from various sectors. On today's segment, we have the topic is Empowering Voices, Women in Parliament underscores the crucial role women play in political leadership and decision making. We aim to delve into the perspectives on women's contributions to Parliament and, of course, other areas. We have two segments featuring various parliamentarians. In this first segment, our esteemed guests in the studio are Ms. Barbara Conolly, and she is the former Deputy Speaker of the House, current Member of Parliament, and alongside her we have Ms. Lucile Seymour. Ms. Seymour is a former teacher, education official, permanent secretary, legislator, and she is a current chair for the Council of Older Persons. On the second segment, following the 8 o'clock news, weather, and traffic reports, we'll have our second segment, and we'll hear from the Honorable Sabrina Turner, Minister of Health, Wellness, and Home Affairs. As well, we'll have the Honorable Katherine Ebanks-Wilks, MP, former Speaker of the House and Minister for Sustainability and Climate Resilience. That's on the second segment. But we shoot off with the first segment, and in the studio, as I just said, we have Miss Barbara and Miss Lucile. That's how they're called in the Cayman Islands. Miss Barbara, Miss Lucile, good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning.
And you'll agree with me, right? Miss Barbara, Miss Lucile.
Absolutely.
Good to
Good
have
morning again.
Good morning to
And
the
good morning to our listening public.
Good morning to have you both in the studio. I'm nervous this morning. I'm in the company of awesome women, and I'm humbled, and it's a privilege to have you in the studio with me.
We are too, because it is humbling for us to be in the media. You know, the media is the one entity that really has to promote women. And when women are in front of the media, they should promote them.
And utilize every second of airtime, right?
Absolutely.
No, Miss Lucille, let me start with you. Let me pick on you first. Can you just briefly, in a nutshell, I know you've got lots to talk about, but we put in a nutshell this morning, touch on your political journey and the people that have empowered you in your political career.
Well, my political journey started from when I was about 10 years old. I told my mother I was going to be a politician, and she laughed at me. But I took a long time having a career in helping people as a teacher and, as you said, permanent secretary. I always wanted to be a politician because I felt that this is where you help people. This is where you look around and you say, these are the things I'd like to do to empower people. It was in a little difficulty because in my growing up, women weren't politicians. Mm-hmm. They were just in a small segment. So when I started to become a politician, I think people looked at me. I failed the first time. I lost by either 56 votes. But when I got in, with Alfonso Wright and Osborne Bodden, we were in the backbench, and Mr. Moses, we certainly ganged up together, if I can use that word, to help people. Mm-hmm. And it was really awesome. Because I felt there was a place for backbenchers in politics. When you are too much into the government, you don't really get an opportunity to do things. I brought a couple of motions for women in particular because I felt, having been brought up by a woman singly, and I thought she did a good job with me, I thought that this is where I would like to help. And I aligned myself with netball. And because netball has a lot of women in it. And I said to myself, well, how can I help people to be like me or to be better than me? Mm-hmm. And therefore I stayed in netball. But it was awesome being a politician. I really liked it. And then I worked with a lot of people like Sir Alden and Mr. Kurt, Arden, Mr. Anthony, and we really put our heads together. And then, of course, being a founder of the PPM, I was able to do a lot. I think I'm fortunate in a way that I was part of a party, because I do believe that party system is the way to go to help people become more politically conscious. So I will end by saying that it was great. The only thing was I didn't realize I was a dishonest person until I became a politician.
Okay, we'll leave that for another show, right? But Miss Lucile, who are some of those people who you felt empowered?
My mother,
anyway? Your mom,
my mom, and my teachers. But to me, in growing up, most women were kind. There was something about me, special about me. I had cross eyes, so I think people took pity on me and thought I wouldn't be anybody. But they didn't realize that helping me gave me a box to stand on and a shoulder to stand on. And my neighbors, I was surrounded on Sheldon Road with nothing but women, older women. They helped me, I'm telling you. I couldn't do anything wrong in the neighborhood. And then, of course, your church. I grew up in the Presbyterian Church and the chapel. And but I'd like to say that my mother, my teachers, and my sisters, I had 5 sisters ahead of me, so they really tried to help me. I was a little special girl, and I learned quickly. I think that is what helped me to move ahead, that I was inquisitive, and I went out of my boundary of thought process. And I know that is why my sisters like me, because I always came up with things that they never came up with.
Well, Miss Lucile, you still have your soapbox, right?
My soapbox?
That you stand on?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And I do it because I want other women to emulate me.
That's right.
And if you notice, I do a lot of changes in the way I dress, the way I think, what I do, because I want women to know that they can be risk takers just like me.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Miss Lucile. Miss Barbara, your turn. I'm loving this morning. You have been involved in lots of community projects, correct?
Absolutely.
Over the years. Now, for your constituency, especially, how important is it to stay engaged with your constituency on a regular basis? You're still a woman in Parliament, but how do you find time for that?
Thank you for that question, Anita. It is absolutely vital that we stay engaged with our constituents. We have to visit them on a regular basis. I have a number of neighborhood crime chats, and I converse with my constituents on those chats, which is very helpful, because not every day I can go and visit them. I can actually speak to them also on WhatsApp. Most of my constituents have WhatsApp, so we converse, we communicate via WhatsApp. But you know, when people will say to you, "Well, I only see you when it's time to vote for you, like 2 months before elections. I only see you come around, just asking for your support." I beg to differ in my case. Particularly in the first 4 years, I was a bit more active in my community, and I was able to engage more. But having said that, I still communicate with my constituents on a regular basis, and it's vital. It's important that we check on our people and listen to what their needs are, try to assist them in any way possible we can, and just always be in touch, because after all, I am their voice, and I have to be able to reach out, and they have to be able to reach out to me as well.
I tell you what, I feel special this morning. I feel that I'm in the presence of influential women. And I mean, as you know, I'm not Caymanian, but I've been here 42 years, and I basically grew up listening to people like women like Miss Lucile, and now yourself, Barbara. So it's just, it feels good this morning. I just want to say that.
And let me tune in here to say something about Miss Barbara. I've known Miss Barbara all my life and all her life, and she is the ultimate politician for a constituency. I watched her as a young person and involved in her church and involved in any activity. And as a politician, I think Miss Barbara is perhaps better than a lot of us who have been there when it comes to constituency matters. I have not heard anyone from her constituency saying, as my mother would say, a right word about her, because that is good. Because when you know your constituency and you are able to help your constituency, that is 3/4 of being a politician. And I can tell you that I watch her, I hear about her, I see things that she does, and I believe that and as a woman, venturing into all those things, there's that speaks volume for her. A lot of people think that to become a politician you got to be a good debater, or you got to know the subject. No, the part about it's your people that make you what you are, and I can give kudos for her. And I don't think there's any one of us as women, perhaps Miss Julie, but any one of us as women who have entered into politics have done as much as she has done.
And it's good to see so many women involved in politics in Cayman. That's empowering for other women as well. Now, Miss Barbara, what are some of the changes that you would like to see in the political landscape in the future?
Anita?
Yes, Miss Barbara?
For my view on that is, I really would like to see a more balanced parliament. We currently have 5 women in parliament, and we have 14 men. That is not a balanced parliament.
It's not.
So I would encourage more women to run for politics. Now, we have an election coming up next year, 2025, and I really would encourage, and not only just encourage, but just advocate. I will advocate for more women to become parliamentarians. I would also venture out there to say that any woman that is interested in running for politics, they can contact me or Miss Lucile, a former parliamentarian, and we can give them some guidance, some of our experiences. Some of our experiences may not be good. Others are absolutely amazing over the years. And I just wanted to reach out to them to say, get involved, because your country needs you. We need more women in politics in the Cayman Islands.
That's amen to that. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. Thanks to our sponsors this morning, Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 50 years of service to the Cayman Islands, and Ruland's Real Estate.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Guy Adonis Banks, MBE JP, 1914-2000.
A major road on Little Cayman is named after Mr. Guy Banks, who started a private school, later accepted as a government school on Little Cayman. A farmer, he also served Little Cayman as customs and immigration officer, peace officer, road supervisor, radio operator, and mail transporter. As a lookout during World War II, he braved potential danger, from enemy submarines to report to officials in Cayman Brac. In 1959, Mr. Mr. Guy was transferred to Cayman Brac. During his tenure as District Commissioner, the Brac's infrastructure and services were upgraded, including the paving of the North Coast Road and construction of the Civic Center. He served as chairman of various sister islands boards, including the Development Control Board. Among his numerous awards are the Queen's Coronation Medal and Silver Jubilee Certificate and Medal.
The 17th Annual Bill Rudy Rotary Central Science Fair, Saturday, April 13th. At the Arc Camana Bay. Plan for it. Start your project now. Open to students across all schools in Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Grand Cayman. Homeschool students are welcome. Register now. Today, tonight, online, rotarysciencefair.ky. The Rotary Central Science Fair, just around the corner. Saturday, April 13th. Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Real estate decisions have a major impact on your life and work. A home may be the biggest purchase you'll ever make. Office space is the second highest cost after staffing. For savvy property decisions, a trusted advisor is vital. Rulin's reputation is built on that trust. Data-driven and fact-focused, Rulin's harnesses 25 years of experience and the latest market intelligence. We analyze every opportunity in the context of our clients' best interest now and in their future. For important real estate decisions, contact me, Sloan Rulin, and my team at 938-1000 or info@rulins.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. The topic today is Empowering Voices, Women in Parliament. And this underscores the crucial role women play in political leadership and, of course, decision making. And on our first segment this morning, we have in the studio Ms. Barbara Conolly, JP MP, who has over 30 years of experience in the financial services. She joined the People's Progressive Movement back in 2002 and was first elected in 2017. She has served as Deputy Speaker. She was re-elected in 2021, and she's currently the MP for the constituency of Georgetown South and a member of the Public Accounts Committee. Alongside her, we have in the studio, no stranger to the studios of Radio Cayman, Ms. Lucile Seymour, BEM, MBE, JP. She's a former teacher, education official, permanent secretary, legislator, chairperson, and representative for Georgetown for the Council of Older Persons. As you can see, she's made significant contributions to her country's history. She played a key role in formulating the National Youth Policy and establishing the Office of Women's Affairs and the Women's Resource Center. Her efforts were recognized with the British Empire Medal, BEM, from the Queen. Additionally, she is a prominent figure in Cayman's netball community. Again, it's a pleasure to have you both in the studio. Now, Ms. Lucile and Ms. Barbara, can you share an achievement during your political career that you are particularly proud of? I'm sure you have many moments.
I like to give the younger person more time to talk because I don't have any problem about talking. But there are a couple of things I really enjoyed, and I'm glad we did, was the recognizing women. Mm-hmm. In 2009, we brought the recognition of the 76 women that had voted.
Oh, 358?
58 women that had put their names down to vote it in. And we recognized them. I thought that was with the Sir Alden. He was then the Minister of Education and the Minister of Culture. And I brought that motion. And that will always stick out in my mind as something that was worth doing. And the edifice is there. And that's the thing about recognizing things, that when people walk around, they see things, and that those women are there pointing to the Parliament, and an older woman handing over to a young woman, and that, among other things. But I thought that was it will always stick out in my mind. What I want, what we should be doing, and what is very nice about it that every year we recognize it, you know. And that stuck out to me.
How about you, Ms. Barbara?
One of my greatest achievements was when I was nominated as Deputy Speaker and then had to sit in a chair for a few sittings in 2020. I would say that was a very proud moment for me. Basically, I had one training session.
Wow.
And then I had to sit in a chair. So you can imagine how apprehensive I was sitting. Never, ever really had to sit in that chair. So it was quite an experience, but I really enjoyed it thoroughly, and I learned so much. And as a matter of fact, if I was to be nominated again, I would be more than happy to sit in that chair, because I could still do the job.
That's right. Were you ever scared, like, I'm sitting in front, especially all the men in Parliament, you know, and men can be judgmental. Were you ever scared of, offending anybody or anything like that?
Not really,
moments?
Anita. I get along really well with men. I sit in opposition right now, and I'm the sole woman.
Okay, right.
And the rest are guys, men, right? I am not intimidated at all with men. As a matter of fact, I get along really well with all of my colleagues, with all guys, for that matter. And even when Arden, because that was in 2020, when Arden was actually in Kenneth and all those were in opposition, there were a few times I probably would have felt intimidated by them, because, you know, these guys they will always get up and with a, to say there was some point of order or what have you. And those things were very new to me in terms of how I really approach those. But having said that, the guys all of the members of Parliament treated me with respect. And I never really had any issues sitting there for those couple of sittings. It really was a good experience for me.
I think you did a good job. I used to enjoy listening to you.
Thank you, Anita.
Yeah, because I've known you for so long. And I'm like, Miss Barbara is speaker, deputy speaker, deputy speaker, right? Deputy speaker.
Yeah, and actually being first time in politics. I mean, sitting there in that seat. Oh my goodness! I mean,
I was scared to death.
It was scary, but at the same time, like I said, it was quite a great experience for me.
Well, moving ahead, do you think that women in the Cayman Islands, they're honored sufficiently?
I have to say that guardedly. Say no, guardedly, but the younger women today are not going to take the things that the older women think. But women themselves must blow their own trumpet. And they must like each other. They must elevate each other. And they must want to work in that Parliament. That is where I want to do business, they must say to themselves. I want to work there. And if they don't say that, they are not going to get there. But as Hillary Clinton said, when women vote for women, women win. I would like to see in the Parliament, if I can digress a little bit, I'd like to see in Cayman because we're having a difficulty putting more women, and we should have a 50-50 rule. If I would like to see, at least for now, a quota system to say, okay, there are 19 people, you average it out, and you say, and so we'll have women, because you need the input of women in the decision making. And he who is touched by it should have a say in it. Women are touched by a lot of decisions in this country, and they should be part of the decision making process. Politics is not just for males, it's for everybody. And it's a better country when you have a 50-50 rule.
Now, how about sports? What's the vision for the future of women's sports here in the Cayman Islands?
Let me talk about that a little bit. Again, people think that sports are for men. Why do we do sports? We do sports to help us in a healthy, mental, psychological, physiological way. And that is the modus operandi. Coming with that is competition, fine. But because I have been in a sport with women, and that I deliberately did that because I could influence women, and I have. But I get a hard time. We are not fairly treated by the government, not fairly treated by the society and the donations, not fairly treated by the women themselves, even the women that you helped to get in high positions. They don't look back and give even a donation to the Netball Association. But I would advise that women, in this time where we have mental issues and stress, and so women find a time to get involved in sports. Even like Miss Barbara, she walk all her life. That's what she does, to balance herself. This thing about all these things now with mental conditions, and you have this one coming in and saying, but if you get involved in sports, it decreases, and I can tell you, I've been in it, it decreases your stress level, and it helps you with your mental acuity. And so I tell women, find a time, get involved in sports.
I was going to ask Ms. Barbara how important it is for all of us to manage stress and to maintain our mental health while dealing with the pressures of our careers, especially a career like yours. We're gonna sign you up for sports, Ms. Barbara.
I think we have to incorporate some form of exercise into our daily routine, into our lifestyle. Like Ms. Lucile said, I walk 4 mornings a week. I go to the gym. That's the way I'm able to de-stress. And it's not everybody needs to walk. They can actually take advantage of some sport. Pickleball seems to be the big thing these days. We have squash, tennis, football, netball. Get involved. Cricket, volleyball.
That's right. I love my cricket.
We have tons of sports. And not every one of them the older folks can take advantage of. But walking, and I understand pickleball is for our age group. just take advantage. Just incorporate that into your lifestyle, because take it from me, that's the only how I'm able to relieve stress on a daily basis, is some form of activity.
Well, both of you look very fit and healthy, and I just want to say keep it up. It's honoring Women's Month, the entire month of March. And we just want to talk about women. We just want to honor women. Ms. Barbara and Ms. Lucile, we have a second segment coming up, but we have to take some time for the break. Coming up in the second segment, we have the Honorable Sabrina Turner and Honorable Katherine Ebanks-Wilks. If you'd like to stay and join them on the second segment, no, you have to go. Okay.
Yeah, but Anita, I would just like to wish my constituents of Georgetown South and to the wider community, all the ladies, all the women in the Cayman Islands, a happy International Women's Day on Friday.
Okay. And we would want to wish you both the same, Miss Lucile. I want to leave.
Yes, I think it's an important time to give women a shout out, as the guys would say. It is important for women to come out and not put a lot of money in it, but even just come out and show yourself and dress up your girls and dress up your boys and enjoy this International Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Ms. Lucile Seymour, BEM, MBE, JP, former teacher, education official, permanent secretary, legislator, chairperson, and representative for Georgetown for the Council of Older Persons. And of course, you had Ms. Barbara Conolly, JP, MP, and former deputy speaker of the House of Parliament. We're going to take that quick break. When we come back, we'll have our second segment right here on The Buzz. Thanks to our sponsors this morning, Cayman Insurance Center and Ruland's Real Estate.
Radio Cayman time check now, 8:02. This time check brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
When you're on the go, let the Island Supermarket shop for you.
To start, head to fosters.ky/go.
Then shop all your favorite products online, from produce and seafood to grocery and frozen, all picked by our team of shoppers ready to go.
Choose next day curbside pickup from Foster's Camana Bay or delivery island-wide.
To get your order started, visit fosters.ky/go.
This is Groceries on the Go.
And we are Foster's Go. Shop online anytime.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Outrage from Boddentown Flow users as the hours tick by and their internet service remains down. The last update for customers from the telecoms company came around 8 p.m. Monday night, after the internet issues started around 4 p.m. Users have been voicing their frustration this morning on Facebook and Instagram about the lack of information from the company about the issue or when it would be resolved. Earlier this morning, a Flow customer service representative told Radio Cayman some of the internet had been restored, but many others remained down. The service is expected to be restored, quote, later this morning. While unable to say what the specific issue is, the Flow tech did confirm it was a, quote, server issue. Some updates from Her Majesty's Prison Service. First up, a row at Northward. The Ministry of Home Affairs and His Majesty's Cayman Islands Prison Service says a fight involving multiple prisoners broke out Saturday night, sending one inmate to Georgetown Hospital for medical treatment. Government says the staff at HMP Northward intervened and, quote, managed the incident in accordance with their internal procedures, with operations continuing, quote, without interruption. Both the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Prison Service are, quote, actively monitoring the incident. In other Northward news, a prison officer has been placed on required leave. On Wednesday, the prison officer was busted allegedly smuggling contraband into the men's prison in Boddentown. The officer was subsequently arrested on suspicion of smuggling and transported to the CI Prisoner Detention Center. Monday night, the director of prisons confirmed, subsequent to the officers formally being charged with misconduct in a public office and supplying drugs, notably ganja, a decision was taken to place the prison officer on required leave while the matter is under investigation. A man is standing trial in Grand Court for possession of an imitation firearm. Let's check in with Radio Cayman's Jeffy Ebanks on this story.
Corey Shamar Pusey is on trial for, amongst other things, possessing an imitation firearm. The charges relate to an incident in July 2023 when it was alleged that Mr. Pusey was in a dispute with his ex-wife and brandished what appeared to be a firearm. The trial began on Monday in Grand Court before Justice Cheryl Richards. The court heard testimony from Mr. Pusey's ex-wife and also saw cell phone footage of a man who is believed to be Mr. Pusey on the roof of his ex-wife's home with what appears to be a firearm. Mr. Pusey denies the charges and the trial is expected to continue till the end of the week. Jeffy Ebanks, Radio Cayman News.
And Cayman's top enforcement officials briefed the National Security Council on their continued efforts to safeguard the country. According to a summary of minutes published by the Cabinet Office, the NSC's February 20th meeting included a briefing about previously reported thwarted cyber attack on government systems back on February 9th. The Chief Information Security Officer there stressed that there was no, quote, successful compromise of government's data. The NSC was then updated on Cayman's national road strategy and the recent education campaigns to encourage safer driving before turning to Customs and Border Control. The director spoke to Cayman's first conviction for the importation of fentanyl, the current migrant situation, and the detention center. Finally, the police commissioner provided the National Security Council with an overview of 2024 crime stats and planned repairs for damage to the Northside Police Station. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. Ukraine says it's used naval drones to destroy a Russian patrol ship in the Black Sea. Military intelligence says the vessel was hit near the Kerch Bridge connecting Russia with occupied Crimea. Moscow has not yet commented. The German defence minister says one person making an error is to blame for Russia's interception of a high-level military meeting on Ukraine. Boris Pistorius said a participant had dialed into the call via an unauthorised connection. Police in Germany are investigating a suspected arson attack near the site of Tesla's giant car factory outside Berlin. The plant and nearby villages lost electricity when a substation caught fire. A court in India has acquitted a disabled human rights activist of waging war against the state. GN Sai Baba campaigned against the activities of the security forces in areas where Maoist rebels had been active, but denied having links with them. Official figures from Thailand show more than 10 million people needed medical treatment last year for health problems related to pollution. Over 1.5 million Thai citizens have already sought help this year. The report calls for more to be done to tackle pollution. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
You don't sound too good there, Bobo.
Yeah, you know how it is. With the kids back in school, every other week they come in out with something, and then I catch it.
Sound like it catch you. But for real, brother, flu season is here and COVID is still around. You gotta stock up on things like medicine, vitamins, and minerals for you and the kids. You know what they say, prevention is better than cure.
At ValueMed, our pharmacists can help manage flu symptoms and provide guidance on vitamins and minerals to best support you and your family's overall health. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Town, or WhatsApp your questions and prescription refills to ValueMed on Walkers Road at 926-1662 or WhatsApp ValueMed in Town at 916-5511. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Can you tell me what does a turtle do on his birthday? He celebrates!
Celebrate your loved one's special birthday with a birthday shout-out live on For the Record with Mr. Oret Connor, only on Radio Cayman. WhatsApp your loved one's name to 925-3261. That's 925-3261. Radio Cayman's birthday shout-outs live on For the Record with Mr. Oret Connor every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands. From Tortuga Wholesalers. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Superior Auto. They keep your car in tune. Call 949-9570 or 525-9571.
The 8 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first. Just about 11 minutes after 8, let's take a look at your latest weather. Compliments of our friends at CG Britcay. Present temperature 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Real feel. Winds are out of the east at 5 miles per hour. Relative humidity 81%. The barometric pressure is at 29.94 inches and falling. Last night's low temperature was at 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Light to moderate southeasterly winds and seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next few days as a weak ridge of high pressure lingers across the area. Our forecast for today: partly cloudy skies, 20% chance of afternoon showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Looking later tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of late night showers. Temperatures will fall to the mid 70s. Winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. We're at a high tide. Low tide will be at 12:50 this afternoon. High again at 5:41 later on this evening. And the outlook is for similar weather through Friday morning. That, my friends, is your latest weather update.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8 a.m. Weather Report, brought to you by CG Brit-K, where people come first.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
All right, very quickly, let's take a look at the traffic situation. Still getting some traffic coming out of the eastern districts. Looking at the east-west arterials, traffic still piled up and moving at a fast walking pace. Similar looking down from the King Sports Center. Fast walking pace moving traffic along the Linford Pearson and on Crew Road. So still lots of traffic this morning. Similar if you're going through South Sound. You'll run into some traffic as well. South Church Street into Seafarers Way, as well as onto North Church Street. Traffic going along Walker's Road. Bobby Thompson Way, of course, seeing some traffic, heavy traffic, including heading on to Huldah Avenue, around to the CNB roundabout. And of course, getting to the Butterfield roundabouts, we do see some traffic in that area as well. The majority of the streets in Georgetown trying to take in the heavy influx of traffic coming out of the eastern districts. Butterfield roundabout, yes, seeing the usual traffic. Lots of traffic coming off the SLB Tibbetts, North Sound Road as well. Northbound lane towards the Butterfield roundabout, seeing some traffic. Got 2 cruise ships in port with a third one sailing in, so we'll have 3 cruise ships in port. Lots of pedestrian movement in the Georgetown area with visitors coming ashore here in Grand Cayman. Cayman Brack and Little Cayman, seeing some light traffic this time of the morning. Buckle up and stay safe. Expect some delays this morning time as you try to get into work or school. That's the latest traffic reports.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. It's 15 and a half after 8 o'clock. It's honoring Women's Month. That's the entire month of March. And we're celebrating Women's Month right here on the Business Buzz, whether the men like it or not. I'm sorry to say, but we're going to celebrate women. In the studio this morning, we have the Honorable Katherine A. Ebanks-Wilks, MP. She's a Minister of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. She was elected to Parliament in 2021. And she has served in various roles, including Deputy Speaker and Parliamentary Secretary. She became the youngest Speaker of the House in 2022. In addition to her parliamentary duties, she's involved in community organizations focused on bullying prevention and youth development. And we have the Honorable Sabrina Turner, MP. She is the Minister of Health, Wellness, and Home Affairs for the Cayman Islands. Elected in 2021, she represents Prospect might want a bigger prospect this morning. She's a former Norse immigration official, business owner, and of course, the former host of the Business Buzz. She's also she's been very active in community organizations and led initiatives in her community. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you both in the studio. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
All young Caymanian women, and we're just honored to have you in the studio this morning. What are we going to talk about, Miss Katherine?
Well, anything relating to women. I think the public is probably anxious to hear our conversation this morning. I'm excited to have a chat in celebration of honoring Women's Month.
Yes, likewise. And
Sabrina?
again, it's always good to, I always say, be back home. But also to...
You're in the wrong chair.
Yes, that's
You're
fine.
on the
that's
opposite
fine.
side of me this morning.
But it's always good to come back to Radio Cayman. And again, the whole purpose this morning of, showcasing women in our way of honoring Women's Month here in the Cayman Islands, and to engage, because it's amazing. And it's funny how you went into wondering, how the men feel. It is our month. And it's that we grapple with every day in our lives, but we all coexist. But I'm looking forward to the discussion here as three women, and I know you had two other strong women as well before us, and we are going to continue in our discussions and just be real. That's what it's all about this morning.
I have a feeling you want to co-host this morning, Miss Katherine.
It sounds like she's already doing that.
No, as a minister for health and wellness and home affairs, Ms. Sabrina, what are your top priorities besides family?
Okay, well, definitely work. The people have elected us to work, and that's what I've been doing. I hit the pavement running, being given the Ministry of Home Affairs, Health and Wellness, just as we were opening back up the jurisdiction. So we had to look at building the resources and capacity there. And a year after being elected, then I was given Home Affairs. For health, it was all on, and my colleague here will know, change of regulations. I was loved, I was probably still hated by a few, but it was just in making sure the role we were able to do regulations and legislation very quickly, to making sure that the well-being and the safety of our country maintained. So that was a challenge. Right now, we've gotten over that. We have moved on. We're living with COVID. And it gave the ministry the opportunity, health and wellness, to then look at outstanding priorities to which this government wanted to reach. But I realized I had to dig deep into seeing what the capabilities and resources were in order to be able to deliver in this administration, so that we as a government under the health and wellness ministry wouldn't appear as though we're failing. So one of the biggest pieces of legislation that we are actually at the finish line with right now is the Pharmacy Act. And that is definitely going to come before the House, possibly in the next sitting. And we did the STEP survey to get an idea and the pulse of the health and wellness state of our country. That was 13 years now overdue. So we have a better idea of really where we need to go to inform us as cabinet ministers. The decision has to be made in how we're going to actually support some of these initiatives. So we have that. We're looking at the public health legislation as well. And there are a number of other legislations that is coming on board with the Mental Health Act and how persons that are suffering with mental health issues are handled. That's both sides, even for those uniform agencies dealing with persons with mental health challenges. That was the first piece of legislation that was brought to Parliament under this administration and my leadership. In Home Affairs, we're definitely making changes in the way we collaborate with other uniform agencies, being an intelligence-led ministry, and making sure that we forge those relationships not only locally, but regional as well, breaking down of silos in order to bring effective outcomes. But these are all wishes in administration that this administration have to work with collaboratively with the civil service in order to bring these over the finish line Outside of that, we are the strategic steer as your elected MPs and government, supported by our cabinet colleagues. But we work closely with making sure that our ministries are adequately resourced, the skill sets are in there. Outside of that, we cannot deliver for the people.
And as it would say, boom.
And I have to come after her.
Yes. So, Miss Katherine, you were Speaker of the House.
Yes, ma'am.
The youngest Speaker of the House. And you also did a great job. I was kind of disappointed when you were commissioned for something else, if you want to call it that. And
I had to pivot.
Yes. Yeah. I always wonder about being the Speaker of the House, like all the lingo, like you had to learn all of that prior to being the Speaker of the House. I mean,
well, I definitely have to thank
point of order.
The staff at Parliament is really, I would probably have to say, they have been my success. My success is a credit to them. The clerk, she and the deputy clerks spent a lot of time with me, as well as the sergeant of arms, preparing. We actually did some mock sessions to get me ready for the first few sittings. And I guess it's what you call baptism by fire. One of the things that I learned from that is
you did a great job.
Never underestimate what you are capable of doing. It just means that you have to dedicate yourself. I felt like I was back in law school, spending time reading the standing orders and Erskine May. And when I look back now, I was like, wow, I did that, So I think that's one of the beautiful things about being a woman. Men can do it as well. But just the ability to dive into something and give it your all and do it well.
Adapt to any situation.
Adapt, yes.
To any situation.
It's like what I was just saying, pivot, pivoting. That's the word I used when we did our recent change, right, Minister Turner?
Yes, that's true.
Civil servants often pivot, with elections. Some of them move from one ministry to the next, and it's no different than a minister or speaker coming over to being a minister is our role as well, to be able to serve in any capacity.
And that pivot took you to your minister right now.
And climate resiliency.
Yeah. How is that working out?
It's working out really well. I have, again, baptism by fire. It's a very busy time to walk into the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency, but the staff have been amazing. They have been very complimentary with trying to bring me up to speed with everything that they have been busy working on for a number of years now. Exciting things like the draft energy policy, which we're working on, and we hope to have that back to Cabinet in short order, as well as the climate change policy, which final changes are being made before we bring it to members for their review and consideration. And then the other big thing is the Regen project, which is taking up a lot of our time, but we're working hard at it, and I'm enjoying just being able to learn so much about the environment, listening to some of the things that the director from the Department of Environment has shared and educated me with, in terms of some of the things that we often take for granted in the in our environment. So I am having a good time. I'm having fun. We just planted some trees in my constituency, which, funny enough, when I was speaker, I reached out to the Ministry of Sustainability and said, hey, I have this idea. I want to plant some trees in a park that really doesn't have a lot of shade, and we use it for a lot of community events. And it just managed to get to the finish line last week. And we were laughing about it because I moved from being the speaker who was chasing, saying, hey guys, how are you coming along with this project, to being the minister to actually plant the tree. So it was a really surreal feeling to know that, we have made these different transitions, and I'm able to deliver on something that was started, when was that? Sometime last year. And
when you're old and in a rocking chair, your grandkids will walk you over to that tree.
Say, yeah.
And I planted
Yeah, see this tree?
That has history, you know.
That's true.
That tree, you know. Looking at both of you, Miss Sabrina and you, Katherine, I remember before you became parliamentarians. I remember before you ran for election, you were like, you know, I'm not working, you know, and you were going through that. You can call it your sabbatical, you know.
Yes.
But you weren't, you know, you weren't working, and Parliament, I'm pretty sure, wasn't anywhere near to your thoughts. And you, Miss Sabrina, you sat here right in the seat where I'm at right now, running the business buzz, and we had no idea that you were going to run for election.
I didn't.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And look at you now. Look at you both now. You have an amazing story to tell.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I never saw being a parliamentarian ever in my sphere. Anyone knows me. I ran my own businesses pretty much for 15 years. And I just got involved in the community. That started out by being a regular member of the Community Emergency Response Team. That's the CERT. And then you just build relationships, and people come to you. You deal with it as a regular member of your community. You deal with whatever community issues collectively with other regular citizens. And here I am today. But I mean, what we have learnt in this time that we have been here, our confidence, understanding the machinery of even the civil service and how that operates, even though I was a previous civil servant. At this level, being in the highest level in your country, I use the word noble. It is noble. It is humbling. It is an honor. But let me tell you, it can shake you to the core. There is no blueprint. There is no handbook for this, because you're elected because the people have trust and faith in you that you will represent them. And then you get in and you have to navigate, maintaining that connectivity with your constituents, doing your elected role. That's a constitutional responsibility. And then balance who you were before, which is now a past tense, because you are serving the people. But even understanding the machinery of the civil service in order for us to be able to deliver and maintain connectivity with the persons that have elected you into political office, we have matured. We're still learning. Every day is school for us. And then first coalition government, the youngest elected government, pretty much members of cabinet. Pretty much none of us ran on each other's platform. And we are here coexisting. And this is the first time you've had, one, so many females, and two, a clear representation of all districts in our country.
In
cabinet.
In cabinet. That's true. As well as, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the largest number of women sitting
5.
at the table.
Yeah.
Largest number of women elected, but
in
also
cabinet.
in cabinet. Now we have 3 women that sit in cabinet, so that we have that balance, you know, and it's
been an experience. It's humbling.
I just love listening to this. But you know what? We've got to take a break. We have a call on the line, but we're going to take that break first, Paul.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That, unlike the no-gets, ours are handmade using 100% white meat, unlike the no-gets. At KFC, we hand-bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
Join Water Authority for the grand opening of its Cayman Brac Customer Service Office at the Avistar Building, Friday, 8 March, 10 a.m. till 12 noon. If you register for the new customer portal account or apply for piped water service, you will be entered for a chance to win a new phone or a water service gift certificate. Plus, you can meet the team and enjoy some refreshments. It all happens on Friday, 8 March, 10 a.m.
Business Boss. Business Boss with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. Empowering voices, women in Parliament underscores the crucial role women play in political leadership and decision making. We have in the studio this morning Minister Sabrina Turner and Honourable Minister Katherine Ebanks-Wilks, and we have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, good morning, Anita, and all you wonderful women on the line.
Good morning.
This is number one Marilyn from Boson Bay.
Boson Bay.
Yes.
Wow. Good morning.
Number one, Silver Fox, all of them up in there know me when I call.
That's right.
Congratulations on all the work that you're doing, and may God bless you. And Anita?
Yes, ma'am?
You need to play that song, Women Gonna Run the Country.
Well, we'll tell that to Silver Fox. He's holding it down this morning.
He hearing me. All right.
Okay, Miss Marlin.
Thank you, Miss Marlin.
I thought you were going to say, have him play George Jones.
No, not George Jones today. Woman gonna run the country.
Okay, we'll do it.
George Jones is another day.
That's another day, right? Thank you, Miss Marlin. You take care. And thanks for calling.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Miss Marlin. No, Minister Turner and Katherine, you know, calling you minister, it kind of takes up time. So I'm going to ask your permission to call you Miss Katherine and Miss Sabrina.
That's
is that okay?
We understand protocol, but it's fine.
That's fine. Okay, thank you so much for that. No, crime. We're looking at crime all the time. What steps are being taken to address the root cause, especially of gun crimes? That's on our lips these days.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole show. But being the Minister for Home Affairs and understanding what comes in that remit, we have to look at the social issues first and foremost. We have to look at the temperature in our community. We have to get a handle on making sure, one, our borders are secured. Our borders right now are porous. We have to make sure that we have the right skill sets, the right resource, but you have to understand what is the undercurrents that is eroding the very fabric, not only of our youth, our young people, but it looks as though it's going from generation to generation. Then we're being infiltrated by others who come to be amongst us, and we have to have the real conversations of how we can put things in place, but we have to go into the roots of what is causing it in the first place. We have heard even from the political time that we feel as though Caymanians are disenfranchised, our home is not ours, we're being bought out, sold out. These things, and then you have the impacts of a pandemic that just made mental issues surface to the top. This, again, goes to the very same vision of Home Affairs. Breaking down of silos, more collaborative approach, and intel-driven, and in this case, the collaboration, because the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service falls under the remit and responsibility of the Governor and our Premier. But without joint intelligence and intelligence sharing respectfully and the cooperation of everyone who's living amongst us, we will not get this under control.
I think she has said a mouthful, and it, for me to chime in, just to say that I agree with Minister Turner. The approach needs to be an aggressive one in terms of tackling what we are dealing with right now, but also equally important is to start. Well, I think I shouldn't say start to implement, because some of the things that have been, and you may have heard me, Miss Anita, I was on with OC last week where we talked a bit about the Yolandi Ford report, and some of the suggestions that she made have already started to get implemented in terms of early childhood education. And I think, there's some areas that we are working on in terms of, I can never say this word because it again, a tongue twister, recidivism. That's one of the things that I think she speaks of in her.
Prison reform is one of the things that we're looking at too under the ministry.
That is so important because we have so many young people that, go into prison for minor offenses, and I wouldn't say minor offenses, but not a class A offense, as in serious crime like murder or those types of offenses. But they come out, and because they've been imprisoned, it's very difficult for them to get back into the workforce, to get housing. And so it's a vicious cycle. And then they have kids. And so we have to find a way to aggressively approach that end as well. And these are conversations that we're having. I know we had a meeting in West Bay last week, and we were reminded by the public that we as MPs, our remit is legislation. And so these are things that we're looking at, and we are ready to make any changes that the Attorney General sees may combat the issues. They spoke a bit about the, what act was that again? The Bail Act. And it keeps coming up, the Bail Act. So I know these are things that the government is looking at and trying to determine if that will assist the police as they continue to try to address the crime.
One of the things that I've noticed as well, and I often speak with my eyes across the table from where the minister speaks, Kathy, sits in caucus and cabinet. And for the amount of policies that has to be developed in order to help steer our country forward, it's amazing how much of that is still being developed. And a lot of these things with policies, new legislation, the various amendments that is needed in order for even our law enforcement agencies to carry out their day-to-day functions is another thing that sometimes inhibit certain executions and for them to do their job efficiently. But to be honest, nothing that we have said here is wrong. It is how we deal with it, and I can only see collaboration working. Intel-driven information sharing in order to deal with it. But I'm going to be very honest with you as the minister responsible for the prison. Some of the cultures that has seeped into our very own society, how they are stigmatized after they have committed an offense, gone to prison, rehabilitated. There are resources out there to help them be integrated back into society. I have seen young men come to my constituency office saying, "Miss, we want a job." When we have the real conversations, me getting to know why one was incarcerated, but the mere fact that they're coming for help, they already know that they're coming with a target in the back. Absolutely. You're a jailbird, or you did time. There are some serious conversations that need to be had, and even human resources, if we want to reintegrate them into society. Or we need to work together to create more opportunities for persons to be self-employed, to create that innovative side of our people, because we have a lot of the talent and skills that I see personally at the prison, that it's all for naught when a man comes out. He's done his time, want to change his life or her life, and the opportunities are not there. But this is a national issue that all of us around the table, collectively, the buy-in of the community, and working along with the civil servants who are supposed to be the ones who go in research. They're the policy advisors. advise us which legislation, if any, has to change. And then as a cabinet, we all decide. So it is going to be a collaborative approach for us to tackle this. There's not just one single government agency that is responsible for crime in our island. There's not just one single government agency.
And if we can be frank, this isn't a today problem. This issue that we are dealing with now is something that has been, ongoing. The social decay.
Yes.
It has now eroded to the point where we have this huge problem, and I guess in a way, the positive side of that is that it forces us now to take an aggressive approach and to try to deal with things quickly, whereas before...
We want to be more proactive. You can see these
agreed.
things coming.
Agreed.
You can see these things coming. We need to be less reactive, more proactive. But then what does that mean? Do we just spend and put resources in areas until it happens? We don't want it to happen. But how do you know if you're not given the intel? You're not getting the intel because we don't have any trust. Then you have to look then at conduct. You have to look at accountability. You see where I'm going with this? It is no one against anyone. It is just real. But at the end of the day, as a society, we all have our individual part to play.
And
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, and to her point about being proactive and not reactive, again, if you look at it from two tiers, well, we can be proactive by trying to implement, the programs and policies to prevent the younger generation from falling into the same cycle. And now, yes, we are still being... And again, like what I said, it's not a today problem, but it is now a reaction to what we are facing in terms of the recent spate in gun crime.
How do we reach those people who have gone, who've done they're not in prison, they're out in the community. Is it too late to reach out to them?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. And I think, Minister,
they just need to believe you.
Yeah,
you can't say it. It's not a soapbox opportunity. You got to show it.
Well, I was just going to say, she spoke about trust. And I think that is where you start. They're all human beings. They're our Caymanian people. And even some of these individuals that are, affiliated with some of the activities, they'll speak to you. They'll have...
Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to say,
most respectful.
They'll have manners. And we have to look at why they are...
What's the trigger then?
Yes.
It's the social, the surroundings.
Why they are reacting is they're a product of whether it's their environment or whether it's something that they have experienced. Maybe it's just they're a product of bad company. Because, not necessarily because someone has fallen into a particular activity means that they didn't have a good upbringing. I mean, I spoke about that last week as well. My grandmother used to say, you show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. And I think that is also an issue, is finding activities for our young people to keep themselves involved in so that they are not sitting around with idle hands.
Well, Miss Katherine, I've been hearing that for years.
I know.
So
that's what I said. It goes back to now we're at a place where it has to be addressed aggressively. And like you said, you've been hearing that for years, but this is something now that we have inherited as a new government, and we have been, working on a lot of other moving parts, and there are some policies that have been started, and now we have to look and say, are these the policies that we need to implement that will address the needs, or do we need to go back and look at developing something new? Because as you know, time keeps
to change.
Yeah.
But you rightfully say, going back to the youth, we have to look in the position that we serve. I have put a lot of focus and energy, thank you to the support of my colleagues in caucus and cabinet, into the cadets. I can get testimonials from parents who their kids have actually matured. There is hope for them based on memorandums of understandings that is signed with the cadets and the Coast Guard and even the fire service. These children can now see clear career pathways for succession planning.
Mm-hmm.
That's hope. That's all people need. When you look at someone, let's say 35, who didn't see that hope because they may have had a rough beginning, but something switched and now I want to change my life. But then I have to, because of the size of our society, have to walk in society that all I am being judged on is my past, instead of seeing the good in me saying, I want to change my life moving forward. And that's where we are failing some of our people. Some of us need to change and give them a chance.
Agreed. And to what Minister Turner was speaking about with the cadets, again, going back to, trying to break the cycle, the benefit of the cadet program, there's routine.
Etiquette, time management,
so
discipline.
A lot of them are learning things that maybe they may not have been taught at home, but they take that with them wherever they go.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think that the cadet program has been amazing. I'm happy that we have it here. And we see where the young people that go through that program.
Testimonials.
And some of them are moving into other career opportunities now that are similarly aligned, right?
Correct.
So,
same thing with the regiment.
Right.
We have heard persons who came in, like the adults come in to the regiment, and they're trained up, and I'm seeing where they're going to the Coast Guard, where they're going to prisons to get careers into these. But looking at what we're investing into our people when they start off, let's say at the cadets, this are skill sets that is sprinkled all over our island that you can't take away from these people.
Mm-hmm.
And then they give of service selflessly.
Mm-hmm.
And, with the fire department and everything, looking at the career opportunities that are there, we have 22 young persons who were just so hopeful of getting in there that thanks to the support of my colleagues, that became a reality just a few months ago.
Well, we're hearing a call for more Caymanians to join the Royal
Exactly.
Cayman Islands Police Service. Yep. Yes. So on that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue discussion. This is the Business Buzz. Thanks to our sponsors this morning, Cayman Insurance Center and Ruland's Real Estate.
Real estate decisions have a major impact on your life and work. A home may be the biggest purchase you'll ever make. Office space is the second highest cost after staffing. For savvy property decisions, a trusted advisor is vital. Ruland's reputation is built on that trust. Data-driven and fact-focused, Ruland's harnesses 25 years of experience and the latest market intelligence. We analyze every opportunity in the context of our clients' best interest now and in their future. For important real estate decisions, contact me, Sloan Ruland, and my team at 938-1000 or info@rulands.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Family Resource Center celebrates the 25th anniversary of Honoring Women Month throughout March with a full calendar of events offered to honor women's accomplishments and build further awareness of the gender-specific issues affecting women and girls. Key events include their International Women's Day Gala on March 8th with keynote speaker Desiree Phillips, who will host 3 additional workshops inspired by this year's theme, #InspireInclusion, between March 10th and 13th. On March 9th, the Inspire Her Girls Conference will provide female students aged 13 to 18 years the opportunity to connect and learn from female leaders in the STEM field and other industries. The annual Color Me Purple 5K is on the 24th, where every participant will earn their own medal. Join the Family Resource Center for their full month of celebrations as they recognize this incredible milestone. To view their calendar of events and to register, visit frc.gov.ky.
This is Sherry Ebanks, and I work in the financial services sector. I am concerned about how climate change is affecting our beautiful beaches. Sea level rise and changing wind patterns are worsening the erosion of our beaches, and warmer temperatures are causing more sargassum to reach our shores. When our beaches are degraded, our tourism sector and the livelihoods of Caymanians are put in jeopardy. To learn more about the climate risks to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
9 minutes until 9 o'clock. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. Today we are empowering our women. And we're looking at a topic of empowering voices, women in Parliament. And we have two parliamentarians in the studio, in the likes of the Honourable Sabrina Turner, MP, and she's the Minister of Health, Wellness and Home Affairs. And we also have the Honourable Katherine Ebanks-Wilks, MP, and she's the Minister of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. Gosh, these are ministries that I wouldn't even know what to do with them. How do you both manage work and life, that balance, home and work?
Shall I go first?
You're the one with the younger kids.
Oh, man. Let me tell you. Well, I guess I will just dive right in and say that even before being elected, I feel that that has been a challenge as a mom with young kids. And prior to going into the political field, I was a working mom who attended school. So it forced me and my family to develop routines. We've just been a family of routines. But then getting elected now, you think, okay, well, we've got this covered. It'll be smooth. And it's a whole different ball game. It's fast moving, ever changing. And I don't always get it right. And I think that it's important to just be real and honest and say that you don't always get work-life balance. A lot of times it's more work
than balance.
More, yes. But sometimes, you get a reminder, whether it's, your body talking to you or your family just saying,
but then you have to put on your oxygen mask first before you can help everybody else, right?
Absolutely.
So how do you do that?
How do you put on your oxygen mask?
Of course.
Man, it
without feeling guilty.
Yeah, I was just going to say it takes a lot because, you, at least for me, I know Mr. Turner, she's always teasing me and saying that, she's enjoying, her kids are grown. And, I think that the important thing too is just having great support at home. Yeah. My husband is amazing. He helps me out so much with the kids. And sometimes what makes it easy is having him to insist, like, listen, you need to take an extra hour this morning and lay in bed, or I'm going to take the kids out so that you can, just focus on what you need to do. So I think it's about having a good support system. And so it works. But it is, I listen to some of the people that I would call our critics, and they have no idea. You think even the most organized person, like before I came over into the political field, I worked at a fast-paced law firm, and it was fine. It worked well. So it takes, as my predecessor said, there's a learning curve. Absolutely, there's a learning curve. But I think we're over the curve now. And Minister Turner, she can brag about opening up her doors and letting the breeze come in. And
let's hear it.
Be careful.
Let's hear it.
It's amazing. And thank you, Kathy, colleague. I deliberately wanted you to speak first, only because we're coming in at different levels in the political landscape in our personal lives. Mm-hmm. You have a younger family. I don't. I'm predominantly just my husband. My youngest of two sons is an adult. And having managed a number of businesses before, my experience in just immersing myself in the role may come across somewhat a bit bragging because of management, but it's where I am in my personal life. The balance now is something very tricky because my colleague can attest, I have just started getting out in the past couple of weekends. I have
getting out as in how?
As in letting your hair down.
Can you just tell us that and don't
letting your hair down, spending and carving out, even if it's 3 or 4 hours with your husband and friends, and just being the Sabrina that people knew I was before getting elected into office. Quite interesting with balancing the needs of the people the demand of the role has a total different definition after you're elected. And if you don't mind sharp, you will run yourself into the ground because of what is expected of you may not be 100% realistic.
You see, a lot of people don't know that on the outside.
But this
They
is
just
why
see
it's
you
good to
as
have
the
these
minister,
conversations.
right?
And it's not that you're weak because you're a female. It is just the role. But I feel a lot of it has to do with where you are in your personal life. You may have, and I'm blessed to have a very supportive husband. I am blessed to have a very supportive family, and we're close knit. But not only that, my supporters that I know are my core supporters, they are there through thick and thin with me. And there are days that I'm like, what did I do? Am I better off running my immigration business? Was I better off sitting behind that mic where you're sitting now? What was life before? And then you have those moments where we're here, we're making a change, we have learned, we're maturing in our role in these normal, noble position, in the highest position in our land. You're like, wow, this is an opportunity. But the balance is key, I must agree. Again, I have never traveled since I got elected until an upcoming event right now. And that's official business.
Wow.
Look at the responsibilities of my ministries.
I was just going to say, your
travel.
ministry was very heavy, because you had all of the COVID. All the COVID stuff going on.
There is no vacation request on record for me from the day I got elected.
Not even a staycation?
What is that?
Yeah.
What is that? No, because you are not off the clock as an MP and a cabinet minister once you're in the jurisdiction.
Wow.
But let's not scare the ladies that are out there that
want
to put themselves forward, because you're right. But you also said something very important in terms of your supporters, having a really good team, having good constituency staff. So it's possible, but you're right, Minister Turner. I guess where we differ is you haven't been able to let your hair down and get out and enjoy yourself, because that's your downtime.
Yes.
For me, my challenge would be, being able to do the things
Correct.
that a lot of moms like to do. But again,
so it's not a cookie cutter, is what we're saying.
Right, but it can work, and it is so rewarding, especially for us mothers, because we think about what we are doing, how it is impacting the lives of our children, and then you think
Our
about
immediate
when
family.
they're gonna have children.
Yeah.
So
we did another hour for this, another hour and a half.
Are we done? I thought you were giving us half hour more.
Paul, can we get half an hour more? No, Paul, I don't know.
Minister Turner is having so much fun. I think she's remembering.
No, I have a 9 o'clock, but I'm hearing they're running late, so that's why I'm giving myself.
No, the thing is, we want the public to know that as women, you're doing a job that takes more than
meets the eye.
Meets the eye, good. But you're also a woman. You're also a female. You're also a parent. You're also a mother. You're a woman, most of all, and you have your needs as well.
Miss Anita,
and apart from catering to our needs and the public here, you have.
I
to
can be
take care of
very
yourself.
honest. We need to support more women.
Yes.
We need to be less
Absolutely
critical.
agree.
It's true.
The men got a good thing going on.
It's true,
but we need to support more women. That's it.
Well, you see,
sorry, Miss Katherine.
That's okay. Go ahead.
In Parliament, you have how many women now?
Five.
Okay. Do you ever network, or you have different views and everything, different ministries, but do you ever get together and say, let's go for coffee one day?
Well,
Don't have the time?
We have little huddles after.
Huddles.
We actually did that this last Parliament,
yes,
this
we
last
did.
sitting where we had a little huddle with the women, and we do it sometimes after caucus.
Because we don't have the strength to leave Parliament, so we're actually right there. We can't move.
Decompressing. Yeah,
those are the little. You wanted to go ahead and say something.
Those are the intimate moments that I think we have built over time.
Yes, you're right.
We're smack into a minute after 9 o'clock, but I've got one final thing for you, for both of you. Moving forward for women, the women in a society, what advice do you have for them? whether it's politically or as a woman?
Who wants to go first? I think, if it's broad, it's not just politically.
Mm-hmm.
I just say, do what you do with, all of your heart, all of your might, to the best of your ability. Have confidence in yourself. I think as women, we tend to doubt ourselves very easily. And what I was going to say earlier is to Sabrina's point about, women empowerment. Empowered women empower women. So it's our responsibility. We complain because women aren't, at the table. But I think sometimes you have to look past your personal feelings and look at your responsibility as a woman. We need to continue the work that our ancestors have done, the women that trailblazed and paved the way for Sabrina and I to be sitting here today in this capacity. And the two of us, we have a role to play in terms of continuing to, create pathways for the younger generation to come, making it look attractive, making it something that they can understand and connect with. Because let's face it, sometimes when you listen to Parliament, it sounds like, you have to really have an interest in it in order for you to want to tune in. So for me, I just feel that let's just, going back to what Sabrina said, let's just support each other. Let's just love each other. And as Caymanians, let's put our personal feelings aside. We are, we are small, but as the Jamaicans say, we have the ability to be strong and mighty if we just stick together.
Katherine, that's Talawa. What are you looking for?
I will come in, but I was gonna ask Sabrina to say it.
Oh, you trouble! You trying to throw me under that bus? No, Thomas, bus is parked. My advice, and to encourage any female right now, we are at a critical time in life that everybody right now is feeling life, and we, as females, we tend to overthink so much. We are multitasking, and the last person that we think of 99% of the time is ourselves. Women need to understand that once upon a time, it was 50-50 with your partner. Now it's 100-100 of each person. We need to remain focused. We can't let anybody use a paintbrush and paint us. You need to remain grounded, believe in yourself, open-minded, less judgmental, because you don't know my story.
It's so true.
Only me is walking on that path. I say that everyone needs to remain positive, remain hopeful, embrace and support each other no matter how hard life gets. We are founded that there is a Father above. And many a times we feel alienated, isolated. We are stronger than you think. But it goes back to that very same pledge that I asked people to take at the last HSA's Women's Conference. Please pledge to support another woman. Don't judge the person. Don't even ask anything. You can read just by body language that someone needs help. A lot of the anger that we're seeing displayed, a lot of the talking about another person, it's really you're masking your own hidden issues. We all have a purpose to play. We all have our specific role. I am blessed that I have found my niche. I enjoy what I do, thanks to the people of this country. But I can't do it alone. And I'm not going to be here forever. And I intend to take a number of women and men along with me.
And
Thank you, Anita.
You know you're not alone. Thank you both, Minister Honorable Sabrina Turner, MP, the Minister of Health, Wellness and Home Affairs, and the Honorable Katherine A. Ebanks-Wilks, MP. She's a Minister of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. It's been a hearty discussion this morning. It's been my pleasure to host the show, and I want to say thanks as well to MP Barbara Conolly and Ms. Lucile Seymour, who were on the first segment this morning. Thank you so much for your insightful contribution and your dedication to serving our community. It is truly inspiring, especially to us women. We'd like to thank our sponsors this morning, Roland's Real Estate and Cayman Insurance Center. I want to say thank you to Silver Fox for holding it down, Susan Watson for producing the show, and of course you, our listeners and our viewers on YouTube. We will see you again, God's willing, on Thursday, March 7th for another Business Buzz. In the meantime, please stay safe and have a wonderful day. From me, your host, Anita Can. Goodbye.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services.
Also brought to you by Rulins. For your important real estate decisions, contact Rulins today at 938-1000 or info@rhulens.com.